Hello. Today we're going to go through video motion zones. This adds an additional characteristic to detect to avoid false videos. Let's start out by going to our video tab. And I'm going to start with the camera that on my front stairs to set up motion zones for that. Click on Edit Settings. Now we're going to need to enable motion detection. And then in the pull down, we'll do motion sensor with zones. You can see an additional picture showed up or grid. We're going to take a snapshot so we can make these changes within the context of the field of view of our camera. So you'll see 4 motion zones are there by default at the beginning. We're going to adjust the size and location of these to optimize behavior. So in the bottom right hand of each box, there's a gray box. You can use your mouse and select that, and we can resize the box. Now we want to make it a fairly small box because the way the detection works is we expect a certain number, really vast majority of the pixels to change, and that will trigger a motion event. So we're making a fairly small box for the people coming from the upper level of the house. Now we want to make a box for people coming up the stairs. And I'm going to adjust this again by using my mouse button, making a fairly small box and dragging it into place. We want to make this a little bit smaller because, again, we want anyone coming up to disturb or change a vast majority of the pixels in that box. Now we want to make a box for people coming out the middle level. Again, I'm going to make a very small box and drag it into place using my mouse button. So now we've got 3 boxes, and that should detect people coming at any angle. I don't need the 4th box, so I click in the red X and click OK. You can add this box back, and there is a maximum of 4 motion zones. I'll show that in my next example. Let's adjust a little bit of these. I think I've got everything in place like I like it, and that should catch all angles. So I also want to put an overlay of my camera name as well as a timestamp on the video. So check those boxes, click Save Changes. It's now pushing all these parameters out to the camera so it can do its detection and send up videos when both infrared and the motion zones are disturbed. Let's take a look at another example. This is my driveway. And this is too wide, and sometimes we park too deep. So intuitively, you might want to put a zone across the whole thing. Right-click. This will add a zone. So most people think this will work, but it won't, or at least it won't be reliable. Again, we want a vast majority of the pixels in a box to be changed in order to do detection. So what we're going to do is actually, instead of one big one, we're going to create 3 small ones. As long as the majority of pixels are changed in any one of these boxes, it will trigger detection as long as there's also heat detected by infrared, and certainly a car or a person coming up will create that. So here are the 3 zones. If any one of those are excessively disturbed, that will trigger a motion event, and these 3 boxes will cover people coming up, people or cars coming up the driveway. So that's about it. I hope this gives you a little assistance and understanding. It'll take some experimentation to get it right. And you also do want to avoid areas where there's going to be heavy shadows or whatever in the wind, because the moving tree and the shadows could falsely trigger motion events. I hope this helps, and I hope you enjoy the new feature.